Ich würde sagen, wir gucken jetzt noch mal eine halbe Stunde JCS. Ich würde sagen, wir geben uns The Bizarre Case of Stephen Mcdaniel. Das ist super krass abgefuckt, Chat. Der erklärt halt alles. Das sind irgendwelche Fälle und dann zeigen die auf, wie die sich selber stellen oder wie die zum Stellen bringen oder nicht oder ja, wie die drauf sind, die Leute.
When forensic health professionals evaluate stalking, 4 essential items are taken into consideration. The nature of the relationship between the stalker and the victim, the stalker's motivations, the psychological, psychopathological, and social realities of the stalker, and the psychological and social vulnerabilities of the victim. The subject of this episode is 25-year-old Stephen Mcdaniel, and to gain a deeper understanding of the foregoing components, we have to extract certain elements through the knowledge of hindsight. The evolution of technology over the past 2 decades has made forensic investigations considerably more efficient. 2 of the items on this list can now be examined through a single component, would otherwise take forensics weeks or even months to conduct in a previous era. And that component is the internet, or more specifically, Internet search history. The disclosure of web browser data is often a crucial piece of evidence for building a case, as it can unveil many aspects of a suspect's personality that would otherwise be kept hidden. And this is sometimes far more effective than anything else presented in court, including information extracted during a full confession. Without going into specific detail, a large majority of the subject's time was spent watching porn that surrounded the theme of violence and torture. He would also conduct back-to-back searches of how to commit sexual assault, and would type in several variations of the phrase, "how to molest sleeping girl." To forensics, this is an overt sign of desensitization to sexual activity. Excessive exposure to online overt variation
How to molest sleeping girl hat der gegoogelt. What the fuck?
Of desensitization to sexual activity. Excessive exposure to online pornography can have this effect over time. It can build up a tolerance to the traditional idea of sex, therefore the subject may continue a more potent form of stimuli to get the same rush. For Stephen Mcdaniel, this began with watching abstract material on the internet and eventually led him to planning and then carrying out what he saw on screen. His target was 24-year-old Lauren Giddings, his next-door neighbor of 3 years. And this takes us to item 4 of the forensic checklist. With respect to social vulnerabilities, the victim essentially had none. Lauren was outgoing and extremely popular. She was a well-liked member of her community and had a strong social support system. With relation to psychological vulnerabilities, the term perceptual naivety would potentially come to light during a forensic investigation. Stephen had asked her out on a date within 6 months of their acquaintance, which was reportedly only the second time they had ever spoke. Lauren declined, but stated she would like to remain friends, which was only her being courteous and trying to soften the blow of rejection. She would later tell her actual friends that Stephen made her feel extremely uneasy and was uncomfortable to be around. It may have seemed like a non-essential observation at the time, but in hindsight, it appears that her instinctive senses were trying to tell her something. Lauren had told her friends multiple times that she felt someone had been inside her apartment, and she also started getting an eerie vibe when she came back alone, especially late at night. It was as though she could sense something wasn't right, and she even thought about moving multiple times, but unfortunately never went through with it. The reality was that Stephen Mcdaniel had stolen a master's key from a security guard and let himself into her apartment and looked around on several occasions.
Damn.
He also started filming her when she would leave and return to her apartment during all hours of the day. Had Lauren been in this situation before, or even knew anyone that had, she may have trusted her intuition and unknowingly saved herself from a tragic fate. But that's the key word. Trust. She had no proof.
College ist halt auch crazy. Ja, also ich habe ja auch auf dem College gelebt in Mississippi und da ist halt auch in meinem Zimmer war ein Maid, dann war so eine Toilette, dann war da schon wieder anderes Zimmer und beide, also ne, das war so alles so richtig connected, also wir 4 waren alleine schon in einem Zimmer so und dann so ein Master's Key zu bekommen, Digga, gefühlt ist nicht mal so schwer.
Of the danger she was in, only conviction, which unfortunately wasn't strong enough when it was most needed.
War dieser wirklich aus 40.
Stephen Mcdaniel snuck into Lauren's apartment once more, only this time she was sleeping inside. As he crept into her bedroom, she awoke and immediately panicked once she saw the intruder. Mcdaniel then pounced on top of her and proceeded to strangle her for roughly 15 minutes. Lauren put up a courageous fight and clawed at her attacker's face and chest, but she was eventually overpowered and died of asphyxiation. After the murder, Stephen dismembered Lauren's body in the bathtub with a hacksaw. He cut his victim into 5 pieces, placed each piece in a trash bag, and then disposed of each of them in separate trash cans around campus. 3 days later, Lauren's concerned friends would arrive at her apartment and let themselves in with a spare key. Mcdaniel would notice from his window and invited himself inside as he offered to help. All of her belongings were still inside, including her cell phone, driver's license, and passport. A missing persons report was filed that night. A search party commenced the next morning, and police would discover the victim's torso at 9:40 a.m. It was placed in a trash can next to the apartment complex. The rest of the victim's remains were never recovered. The investigation was then switched from a missing person to murder. Police canvassed the surrounding area and began conducting interviews with neighbors and classmates, one of whom was Stephen Mcdaniel. But
das ist das. Ich meinte ja zu euch, das wird eine crazy Story und hier kommt das wirklich abgefuckte Chat. Gebt euch das mal, ja? Der Bre wird erwischt, ja? Also nicht der Bre wird erwischt, sorry. Er wird interviewt, einen Tag nach dieser Tat, ja?
Viewed by the local news, and at the time was unaware that part of the victim's remains had been discovered.
We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see her?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know anybody any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people.
Digga, yo, die interviewen gerade random. Irgendein Bre. Das ist einfach der Mörder. Die sagen ihnen, die haben gerade das Oberteil von der Ollen gefunden.
They know who lived there.
Er checkt erst, dass die jetzt erst Teil gefunden haben. Er weiß, er ist gefickt.
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Man denkt so, er muss sit down, weil...
This is most likely a genuine reaction disguised as another. He is most likely feeling a sense of fear and shock over the fact a substantial piece of evidence has been discovered, yet he plays it off as a feeling of sorrow over the loss of his supposed friend.
I don't know anyone that would want to hurt her. She was as nice a person as there is.
Was she moving soon? Did you know anything about her?
Yeah. She was going to be moving out today. Why would anyone do this? Maybe I could have helped.
Er hat sich gefühlt damit schon verraten mit diesem Video, so mit dieser weirden Art.
They went in, we looked around the place. No sign of a struggle, no sign that anyone had broken in, just nothing.
He was interviewed by police at 11:50 a.m. and offered to help in any way he could, yet came across as fidgety and apprehensive the entire time. There were 2 highlighted moments of the interview. The first was when Stephen asserted that he was a virgin, saving himself for marriage. The second was when the detective discovered scratch marks on his face and stomach, which he asserted were done by himself in his sleep. He at that point unknowingly became the prime suspect and was asked if police could search his apartment. Stephen reluctantly accepted and was then transported back to the complex with 4 other investigators.
Habt ihr das gecheckt, Chat? Guck mal.
Suspect and was asked if police could search him. He at that point unknowingly became the prime suspect and was asked.
Die haben ihm 2 Fragen gestellt, Chat. Die Fragen waren, er hat 2 Sachen gesagt. Er hat gesagt, dass er eine Jungfrau ist und es sich für seine Ehe aufspart. Und das zweite ist, dass die so in sein Gesicht und Bauch so irgendwelche Spuren entdeckt haben von so Kratzern und so. Und dann haben die gefragt, ob die zu ihm nach Hause dürfen.
By himself in his sleep. He at that
Er
point
sagt, und seine Ausrede war, ja, ich habe mir das selber im Schlaf angetan. Er boxt sich, kratzt sich und so.
became the prime suspect and was asked if police could search his apartment. Stephen reluctantly accepted and was then transported back to the complex with 4 other investigators. While searching his apartment, they discovered a collection of swords, guns, toilet rolls, stockpiled provisions as if he was expecting an apocalyptic event, and a mask made out of women's underwear. The most significant discovery, however, was a pack of condoms. Stephen was asked why he would have such an item in his possession if he was staying celibate before marriage, at which point he miraculously confessed to stealing them from another apartment. This gave the detectives probable cause for arrest.
Sagt, hat die von einem anderen Apartment geklaut. Wie dumm kann man sein, Digga?
To stealing them from another apartment. This gave the detectives
ich meine,
probable cause for arrest, and Stephen was placed in
Dummheit.
handcuffs and brought back to the police station. His interrogation began just after 11 p.m.
Ihr wisst ja, wie er davor drauf war, ne? Hibbelig, dies, das, so haben die ihn erklärt. Jetzt guck mal, wie er drauf ist.
Alright. I just gotta ask you a few more questions. Okay. You came down earlier tonight, me and you talked, alright. You don't have any weapons on you, do you? No. That's just you are. What's wrong? You know Detective Patterson, right?
Yes.
Do you remember, put your hands up here, you remember us talking earlier tonight, right? Yes. You remember me earlier in the day?
Yes.
When we came down here and talked a little bit and then we left?
Yes.
Okay.
The monotone dialogue and lifeless demeanor you see here reportedly started on the drive back to the police station, and the suspect's conduct throughout the entire procedure is not only mystifying, but almost impressive. This is one of the most extraordinary pieces of interrogation footage to ever reach the public domain.
I need to know about this girl right here. You know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
When's the last time you seen her?
Die sind noch irgendwo im Süden. When was the last time you seen her?
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay?
The suspect has morphed himself into this abnormal and extremely creepy character. Whether it's a strategy or some sort of mental breakdown is unclear. But what's incredible is that it somewhat dictates the pace of the entire breakdown.
Der Typ ist so richtig, look at me, son, when we're talking. Und er guckt ihn so an, der Bre kriegt selber Angst.
Is unclear. But what's incredible is that it somewhat dictates the pace of the interrogation. The detective has just closed the distance and commanded eye contact, both of which are recognized techniques to increase psychological pressure. Yet the absurdly haunting manner in which the suspect turns his head and fixes his gaze unnerves the detective to the point where he becomes the one to look away and reset.
Was geht, Harry?
This essentially never happens in interrogations, as it can give the suspect an incredible boost in confidence.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay? Was you friends with her?
Yes.
Close friends?
We were good.
I mean, y'all were friends, right? Both of
Yes.
y'all were law students. You're studying to be an attorney, right?
Yes.
What kind of law do you want to go into? Criminal law?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do for a living?
Yes.
Okay.
The detective steps back from his initially aggressive strategy. He asks trivial questions for 35 seconds before attempting to ramp up the pressure in a more subtle manner.
Stark,
You've lived next
Harry.
to Lauren for a long time?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where she's at tonight?
No.
Hmm?
No.
Have you ever seen her with that dress on?
No.
You have no idea where she's at?
No.
Yes.
So ein Blick, Digga.
Look. Just tell me what happened, brother.
I don't know.
Well, where's she at? I'm asking you for your help. I'm a detective, and I'm asking you for your help. Can you help me?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You can't help a friend out?
I don't know what you need.
I need to know where Lauren's at.
I don't know.
Ist sehr fucked, ne? Merkst du?
That no one can find.
Meinte ich doch, Digga. Der ist abgefuckt, der Typ.
I mean, I don't know, do you?
Yes.
What's up with the pair of underwear that was in your apartment? That
I
was
don't
like
know.
a mask. It was cut out like a mask. Do you cut underwear out to look like a mask?
No.
Are you a knife collector or a knife person, or
No.
you just like knives?
I used to collect swords.
I mean, do you know your swords?
Yes.
I mean, to sell and trade swords?
No.
Is that how Lauren looked with the long hair the last time you seen her?
Ja, kranker Typ.
That's how she looked.
Der ist jetzt weg auf jeden Fall. Ich meine, die haben ja auch direkt erwischt zum Glück.
I mean, earlier today, me and you sit here and talk normal. What's going on with you now? Why are you acting like this? I need to know. Why all of a sudden you're acting like this?
I don't understand.
Okay. Earlier today, we sat here and talked. But now you're acting like you don't know what's going on. I mean, did something happen or something to you?
Digga, gefühlt, ich kann ihn nicht mal von hier aus seine Augen
Why
gucken.
are you shutting down? Why are you not talking to me?
I don't know.
You don't know? Are you scared?
No.
I mean, you're not scared, are you?
No.
Stephen's demeanor doesn't waver for the first 20 minutes, so the detective eventually takes a more distinctly aggressive approach. He attacks the subject's character to see if it might coax him out of the act and into defending his dignity.
You got your ass on that fucking news and stood out there and gave a media report that her mother saw about her missing daughter. And you want me to sit there and tell him that you don't know? Is that what you want me to tell him? Because you're all over the news. You sure stood out there and ran your mouth to the news media. But now you're going to get out here and you don't fucking know. You know.
Criminal Psychology Titty. Ist ein abgefuckter Typ. Der hat so eine Olle umgebracht, ist ein Stalker.
No.
Well, why'd you tell the media everything? Do you need to see what you told the media today? It was on the 11 o'clock news. Well, I'm
Gefühlt hier muss man schon von Anfang an
Tell
dabei
me.
sein, Chat.
I wanna know.
Der Psycho ist wirklich ein NPC.
I don't know where she is.
That ain't what you told the media. You didn't stand in front of that camera and say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I need you to tell me what you want me to tell her mother. And then I won't ask you another thing. I'm not going to tell her mother that you don't know. Because her mother saw you on the news tonight.
Oh.
She cried all the way down to Macon. Because you had the balls to get on the news and tell everybody everything. So this little act that you're doing right now ain't working with me. Okay? So you
Der zieht das durch auch. Der hat das krass, also die Interrogation war krass von
we
ihm.
can move on.
Der ist ein Abgefuckter halt, ne? Ich sag ja.
I don't know.
Well, how many times you gonna say I don't know?
I don't know.
How many times you gonna say it? If you did something that you regret,
Immer diese Detectives, die aber halt immer so nicht so richtig atmen können, war der wollte ich gerade sagen, Alter. Ich schwör's dir.
I don't know.
Whether it was planned or not, the second detective enters the room with a similar strategy of immediate aggression. Rapport development
Das
seems to
Witzige,
have
also
been
was ist
collectively
witzige?
thrown
Witzig
by
ist ja
the
gar
way.
nichts daran, Paddy. Die Sache ist, also so wie du jetzt gesagt hast, wie dumm muss man sein, dass die Leichenteile direkt neben dem Apartment zu verstecken. Das war halt irgendwo auf einem Parkplatz im Campus, aber die anderen Teile wurden nicht gefunden. Nie, bis heute nicht. Also, oder bis zu diesem Video auf jeden Fall nicht. Heißt, also mit den anderen Teilen hat er an sich guten Job geleistet gefühlt, verstehst du?
what's up, ey?
Also, anderer Detective kommt jetzt rein, Chat. So, nochmal zurück.
It was planned or not, the second detective enters the room with a similar strategy of immediate aggression. Rapport development seems to have been
Bin gespannt,
collectively
Budex,
thrown
ob du
by the
recht hast.
wayside.
What's up, ey? Did you talk to him about his guns?
Yeah.
When was the last time you shot those guns?
I haven't.
You've never shot a gun?
No.
Have you ever shot any gun in your whole life?
No.
Never.
No.
So you bought 3 guns that you've never shot.
Yes.
Why?
To have.
For what?
To have.
For what? I'm asking for what? Why do you want to have them? What makes, did they give you, I mean, tell me why it's important to you to have 3 guns.
Wunderschön, Olli.
That's an easy question. Come on, talk to me, buddy. Me and you talked all day today. We ain't had a problem communicating. Why is it important for you to have 3 guns? Do you not know?
No.
You say you don't know what Lauren...
Digga, der linke Kopf, er sieht aus, als ob er wirklich seine Schnürsenkel letzte Mal vor 17 Jahren zugemacht hat. Wallah sogar.
Yes, right. You told me earlier you and Lauren were friends, right?
Yes.
How would you describe y'all's relationship?
Die interviewen einen Mörder. Mies gut zusammengefasst, Harry. Danke dir.
She was your friend. What? Did you ever do things for her? Did she ever do things for you? What did she ever do for you?
We talked.
We talked. What y'all talk about?
News.
The news?
The news.
Okay. How many times have you been in her apartment with her hanging out?
I don't know.
You don't know? If you had to guess, what was just, I mean, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, what?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2? See, if I had only been somewhere twice, I could remember that. If I had been there...
Nee, da war, okay, die direkte Reaction, die meinte ich nicht, die war geschauspielert. Ich meinte, was geschauspielert war dieses Geheule und so danach. Ja, nee, was, das war ja nicht echt so.
Over 50 times, and you asked me how many times I've been like, I don't know, a lot. But the fact... If you had to guess, what was just, I mean, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, what?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2? See, if I had only been somewhere twice, I could remember that. If I had been there over 50 times and you asked me how many times I've been like, I don't know, a lot. But the fact that you've only been there twice, when I say how many times you've been there, you say,
My boy,
know,
seht ihr,
that's just odd to me.
guck mal, der fette Peter Griffin, Donut fressende Detective, Digga, der hat sich gefühlt eingekackt, Digga. Da gab es eine Szene, Chat, die war zu lustig. Er sagt so, look me in the eye und so, auf einmal, er kackt sich selber so ein, guck mal.
Look at me when you talk to me, son, okay?
The suspect has morphed himself into this abnormal and extremely creepy character.
Dieser Detective Peter Griffin, er hat sich so wirklich eingekackt. Dieser Detective ist schon mal geiler. Muss man schon mal sagen.
You don't know?
You don't know? Der Dialekt, Southern Dialekt.
Yes.
Ja, der guess.
What was just, I mean, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, what?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2? See, if I had only been somewhere twice, I could remember that. If I had been there over 50 times and you asked me how many times I've been like, I don't know, a lot. But the fact that you've only been there twice, when I say how many times you've been there, you say you don't know.
Wenn du irgendwo zweimal weißt, weiß man alles
That's just odd
darüber.
to me.
Zweimal was.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
That does make sense. So what I'm saying right now makes sense.
No.
Lauren's missing. This pretty little girl right here, your neighbor, she's missing.
Much like Detective 1, Detective 2 now valiantly moves in for the psychological charge. He closes the distance and locks eye contact. His physical demeanor, alongside a prolonged
Mal gucken, ob
gaze,
er es
will
jetzt schafft, ihn
hopefully
zu
crack
breaken.
the suspect's fortified barrier. Once broken, the momentum
Der Bre hat zu krasse, der Bre hat so diese Psychopathenschild. Er hat so diese andere Aura.
will commence,
gucken, ob
and the
der
suspect
Kopf
will
die
be more
breaken kann.
likely to divulge incriminating information. All the detective has to do is maintain eye contact for longer than his adversary. It's a psychological battle of attrition between 2 opposing forces, and these moments can sometimes last for minutes on end.
I know.
Me and you both know it's no different than when you was a little kid, right? And you reached in that cookie jar and you got caught after your mama told you not to get that cookie. And when she was, did you get a cookie? No. And whenever you tell a lie, you feel bad about it right then. 1, with every lie, there's a chance you're gonna get caught.
Ja, diese Taktik feiere ich nicht so, diese Cookie Jar Taktik, Digga.
And that weighs on you.
You know that cookie jar? If you ever look around at that cookie jar, you wanna have it? Shoosh. Let me get that cookie. Let me get that cookie and put it in my goddamn mouth because my mama, I love some half-baked vanilla sky cookies that get into my mouth and I chew them and they just taste so good. Hallelujah. Jesus Christ, the Lord saving Jesus.
Am I right?
Am I right?
You can do it.
You didn't take the cookie?
I didn't take the cookie. No.
You smell like you've been cleaning up, like you've been using a cleaner to clean up. I know what that smells like. My wife smells like that all the time when she cleans her house.
Ooh, he got him. Oh, he got him though. He got him though. Er geht an ihn ran, er sagt, my brother, you smell like clean and stuff, my brother. This is how my wife smells when she cleaning the goddamn kitchen the whole goddamn day. This is what my wife's doing. I know how my wife smell.
You smell like you've been cleaning up, like you've been using cleaner to clean up. I know what that smells like. My wife smells like that.
My wife smells like cleaning stuff, you know. She cleaning all the time.
Some kind of cleaner to clean up your apartment, hadn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Steven, you telling me you live like a man? How does your apartment get clean?
Ich hätte ihn geklatscht bei diesem Blick. For real, guck dir diesen Blick an. Der guckt dich so die ganze Zeit an. So. Tschüss.
When was the last time you cleaned it, Steven?
I don't remember.
Was it this week?
No.
You mean you go a whole week without cleaning?
Yes.
Why?
Wow.
That's horrible, Steven.
So.
I don't know how else to say it, Steven. Let me tell you what I think. I think that she was a friend of yours. Look at her right here.
Hat schon Angst, oder was? Damn, wie lange guckt der Peach mich noch an? Look at her right here.
She was a friend of yours. And I think something happened, Steven. You used to watch her come in and out of her apartment, didn't you?
Oh shit, how you know about that one? Das hat die richtig abgefuckt.
How y'all doing?
Oh, Peter Griffin is coming back. Der andere hat auch schon ein bisschen eingekackt, Digga. Man muss sagen, dieser Steven, der hat beide Detectives schon in den Arsch gebumst.
We're just talking.
We're just talking.
See that pretty girl?
Digga, habt ihr seinen Kopf gerade gesehen? In Speed, wie sich das so links-rechts bewegt hat? Er ist wirklich, auch seitdem dieser Typ ihm gesagt hat, leg deine Hände auf den Tisch. Die Hände sind auf dem
I
Tisch.
think that she was a friend of yours. Look at her right here. I think that she was a friend of yours. And I think something happened, Steven. You used to watch her come in and out of her apartment, didn't you?
No.
Well, how y'all doing?
We're just talking. See that pretty girl right there?
Yes.
You telling me you looked at a pretty girl like that and you never once thought, ever, man, she looks good. You never thought that?
I don't understand.
What do you mean you don't understand? You know how when you're sitting there you see a girl walking down the road and you say, man, that girl looks good. You ever see a good looking girl down the road and you think to yourself, man, that girl looks good?
Yes.
You never thought that about her?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me you look at porn on the internet
Digga, damn, wie hat er
and get
schnell
off to
diese...
that, but you never looked at her and said, man, I wonder what it'd be like to have sex with her?
Yes.
You have?
No.
You have...
Steven, this is hard, buddy. I know this is hard. And I can tell it's on you. You want to let it go. There's blood in your apartment, Steven. You didn't get it all up.
This is the widely recognized futility technique, which is used to make the subject believe it is useless to resist due to the overwhelming evidence against them. It's most effective when the interrogator can play on doubts that already exist in the subject's mind. The only problem here is that Steven didn't dismember Lauren inside his apartment. It all happened in Lauren's apartment, so the detective's bluff is already called at this point.
It didn't all come off. You scrubbed and you wiped. But we can tell that. Don't you watch CSI? Yeah, we know it.
Oh,
Steve.
Blood Gamer mit einem Prime Sub, Habibi.
Why is there blood in your bathroom?
The detective now completely shifts his strategy from confrontational and aggressive to sympathetic and understanding. He attempts to create a connection and then afford Stephen a more socially acceptable reason for the crime. This is extremely difficult to pull off after a direct confrontation, as there is no established rapport nor trust. The usual routine is the exact opposite. You would first build rapport and then get aggressive
Richtig
once a
wack.
connection has been attained.
Richtig
I wanted
wack.
to give you an opportunity to tell it. I wanted to be here with you.
I wanna be. Die machen auch immer diesen. Das sind immer diese Südstaaten-Detectives. Das war das letzte, was wir geguckt hatten mit diesem einen Typ, der Internet-Dude. War das nicht auch voll die. Das waren noch diese beiden. Das war diese eine Frau. Die Frau war eigentlich ganz gut, aber der Typ, er war so richtig dumm. Er war die ganze Zeit an seinem Handy und so. Sein Handy hat die ganze Zeit vibriert und so.
Because I know you're not a monster, man.
I know you're not a monster,
I know
man.
you're not a bad guy.
I know you're not a bad guy. Das machen die auch jedes Mal. Just come to Jesus.
You're a hard-working student trying to pass a bar exam, ain't you? You ain't got a lot of support from your family, do you?
You're a monster.
You do?
The strategy fails at the first hurdle.
Support from your family, do you? Student trying to pass a bar exam, ain't you? You ain't got a lot of support from your family, do you?
Yes.
You do?
The strategy fails at the first hurdle. Stephen immediately shuts down the afforded sympathy and reasoning behind the alleged crime, which was the concept of unsupportive parents. But the detective now attempts to roll with it.
A lot of people can't say that. And the fact that you do have support from your family
Der Detective.
should make things easier. Because your family wants to feel like they've raised somebody that tells the truth and is honest, right?
Yes.
Did you hear that, girl?
Digga, er labert einfach irgendwas, dieser Detective.
Raise somebody that tells the truth and is honest, right?
Yes.
Did you hear that, girl, Stephen?
No.
No. You wanna be honest, would you? Yes. Did you heard that girl, Steven? No.
Have you ever heard anyone, Stephen?
No.
No.
You've never heard anyone.
No.
No.
I've heard people, Stephen.
No.
I've made mistakes in my life. It's not.
How's it going, buddy? Jetzt kommt wieder Peter Griffin rein.
Never hurt anybody. Sometimes people get mad and they say things they don't mean to say. It hurts. You never kicked a dog or a cat?
The lead detective then asks non-confrontational.
You
Er
never.
sagt so, you never kicked a dog or a cat. Digga, wohin geht dieses Ding?
Sometimes people get mad and they say things they don't mean to say. It hurts. You never kicked a dog or a cat?
The lead detective then asks non-confrontational questions for almost 30 minutes, which is most likely to see if it will change the suspect's demeanor and the manner in which he responds. But it doesn't. Stephen maintains the same lifeless disposition which he has now kept up for almost 90 minutes.
You know what's crazy? Stephen. They say
The detective then asks non-confrontational questions for almost 30 minutes, which is most likely to see if it will change the suspect's demeanor and the manner in which he responds. But it doesn't. Stephen maintains the same lifeless disposition which he has now
zieht
kept
durch
up for
einfach.
almost 90 minutes.
You know what's crazy? I was talking to people that he works with and everything. They talk about how he's always expresses himself.
But he don't know.
He's very talkative. Stephen, they say you're so talkative, buddy. That you always so friendly. You
Peter Griffin hat sich aber noch eine Coke Zero
See
von
if it will
Drive-Thru
change the
kurz geholt bei
suspect's
Burger King.
demeanor and the manner in which he responds. But it doesn't. Stephen maintains the same lifeless disposition which he has now kept up for almost 90 minutes.
You know what's crazy? I was talking to people that he works with and everything.
Digga, ich schwör's euch, jeden Morgen kam meine Lehrerin an der Uni mit so einem fetten McDonalds-Teil, Digga. Jeden verdammten Morgen, Digga. Die Amis waren so different, was McDonalds und so. Jeden Morgen gehen die Drive-Thru-Chat. Ohne Spaß.
And they talk about how he's always expresses himself.
But he don't know.
He's very talkative.
Das gerade geht, dieser Verhör geht gerade seit einer halben Stunde. Das ist gar nicht so viel
Stephen, they
eigentlich.
say you're so talkative,
McDonald's.
buddy. That you always so friendly. You stop in and say hello, and you talk. Why is it that you're acting so short with us tonight? If you have all this character and personality about you, why is it that everything that we get from you is yes, no, or I don't know?
I don't know.
Why are you acting like this, Steven?
You're going to jail anyway.
You see how I'm able to talk in complete sentences? Like we're having a conversation? But the only thing you're
Mississippi
bringing
und
to the table
Tourism.
is a yes, no, or I don't know. Steven,
Genau so wie die dort reden, haben alle Leute bei mir auch geredet. Am I going down a goddamn yard to kill a goddamn deer? Hey, buddy.
did you hurt that girl?
Hey, y'all. Die waren immer so, y'all. Also, immer, you all, y'all.
No.
Would you tell me if you did?
Yes.
Have you lied to me at all in this interview?
No.
No.
Yes, you have, Steven. When was the last time you did laundry?
A few weeks ago.
You ain't washed clothes in a few weeks?
Yeah.
Why?
I have a lot of clothes.
No, you don't. That's another lie. You don't have a lot of clothes.
Yes, I do.
No. You got enough underwear to last you 3 weeks?
Yes.
Do you wear the same pair of underwear more than one day?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's still clean enough to wear.
So
Where's that
Fragen,
little girl,
Digga.
Steven?
I don't know.
Steven, you know. You're gonna look at this right here, this little girl
Eine Seite geschrieben beim Le Flat. Was ist das?
right here. And you're gonna say you don't know? I know you know.
I don't know.
Yes, you know. What are you gonna say tomorrow when I say we
Steven.
got your hair? What are you gonna say to me then?
Was sagt er?
Say tomorrow. I know you know. And you're gonna say you don't know? I know you know.
Digga, wie sich sein Kopf dreht, einfach wie
And you're
Chuck
gonna
das
say you don't
Mörderpuppe.
know? I know you know.
I don't know.
Yes, you know. What are you gonna say tomorrow when I say we got your hair? What are you gonna say to me then? Cause you know, like I go like that. Look at my hair. That's how easy it falls out. Look at all that on your head. You don't think none fell out? It did.
As we know, Stephen went
You don't think any well we did.
inside Lauren's apartment with her friends 3 days after she was already deceased. This would give reason for his DNA being found at the scene, and would essentially nullify its use as damnatory evidence. Stephen, being a law student, would be well aware of this.
We just want to give you an opportunity to tell it.
Ja, okay, wir fragen uns natürlich, warum macht er das so? Okay, und wieso ist er in diese Rolle reingefallen? Der Bre ist ja, wir haben dumm gedacht, der Bre ist ja Law Student. Der hat wahrscheinlich das gelernt, dass wenn so ein Fall passiert, dass das Schlauste ist, ja, nein und ich weiß nicht.
So you didn't look like a monster at the end. Because you know what? I don't believe that you're a monster, Steven.
I don't believe it, you're a
I
monster,
believe that you're a
Steven.
good guy. You've been picked on. Girls didn't show you the respect that you deserved. You did something stupid. And I believe you feel bad about it. And that's why you're all freaked out right now. But I'm giving you the opportunity to get right. I'm giving you an opportunity to show everybody you're not a monster. That you feel bad about what happened. Your hair's there, man. Your hair is
Stupid.
there. That's right, buddy.
Zu geil, wenn man das
See
aufstellt.
that? Look at it. See how easy?
Detective, you doing a great job today, Detective. I love how you did all the hair stuff. How you showed that kid the hair.
See this stuff right here, your hair?
See your hair?
Yeah, it fell out of your head.
Yeah.
Moving the-
Ja, das von denen, Digga, das ist ein Adlib.
See this stuff right here, your hair? Yeah, it fell out of your head when you was moving the body, Steven. That's
Yeah.
right. Remember moving the body?
Yeah.
Yes, you do, Steven.
Steven.
Man? Why?
Carsten Peter. Detective Carsten Peter.
Tell me, bud.
Fucking
Yes,
Steven.
you did, Steven. We want you to tell me, bud.
So tell me, bud.
Tell me, bud. Yes, you did.
Kurz
Steven.
Manuelsentechnik.
We want you to tell it so that way people will understand you're not a monster. Things just, you got out of control. It's a sickness.
It's a sickness,
Why'd
man.
you do it, Steven?
I didn't do it.
Steven, why are you going to keep telling that? You hurt that girl.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, Steven. her, man. She was screaming.
Yeah, she was.
Screaming, Stephen. Why? And I know you feel bad. I can see it in your face. What came over you, man? What happened, Stephen?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know you don't know. You couldn't control it, could you?
I didn't do it.
Stephen! They steal your hair and take it over there? They didn't, did they?
They didn't, did they?
That's right.
That's wrong.
It's all sinking in right now. He knows, is what you're thinking. Stephen, I don't want it to be a game between me and you.
Bronx County, let's ride.
I know it hurts, and I know you're not an awful person, and you want to tell it. Your hair was there, Stephen. We've all known it all along. We wanted just to give you an opportunity to tell what happened. Did y'all have sex?
No.
Did you try to have sex?
No.
You think about having sex?
No.
Liar. What kind of man doesn't think about having sex?
You're not a man if you don't think about fucking somebody. You know what I mean? If you don't think about fucking all day and night and in the morning, you better think about sex if you're a man all day.
You said earlier you like girls, right?
Yes.
You said she's a pretty girl, right?
Yes.
What'd you do to her, Stephen?
I didn't do anything.
You're lying. You hurt that girl.
No, I didn't.
Sure it did, and that's why you're having this massive meltdown right now.
The detective quite literally repeats the phrase, "You hurt that girl," to which Stephen responds, "No, I didn't." And this goes on for the best part of 20 minutes. Perhaps the detective's strategy was to induce mental exhaustion, yet it had no effect whatsoever.
Why did you hurt that girl?
War, Paddy? Was für Beweise?
Why'd you hurt her, Stephen?
I didn't.
You hurt her, Stephen.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I'm gonna take this from me. You don't deserve to look at it.
You don't deserve a
Stay
look.
right here, okay?
Okay.
I appreciate all your cooperation tonight, okay?
Okay.
Nee, also, okay, warum das Ganze, glaube ich, so richtig abgefuckt ist, der Typ der ist ja bei dieser Ollen eingebrochen, indem er hat so einen Master Key, ja, also mit so einem Schlüssel, mit dem er alle Türen aufmachen kann. Und die sind bei ihm eingebrochen, also Polizei ist bei ihm rein und die meinten zu ihm so, hä? Wieso hast du so viele Kondome zu Hause? Weil er meinte, er will Jungfrau bleiben, bis er alt ist. Und dann meinten die so, warum hast du so viele Kondome zu Hause? Und er meinte, er hat die geklaut mit diesem Schlüssel. Der Trottel. Ich glaube, er hat sich selber damit verraten. Irgendwie. Er meinte, er hat die geklaut, halt deswegen.
Alright, we're getting ready to go. I just need to discuss a few more things with you.
The lead detective now abandons the pursuit of any sort of admission.
Okay, ich bin gespannt jetzt. Jetzt kommt nochmal Peter Griffin zum
The lead
Vorschein. 6
detective
Minuten
now
lang.
abandons the pursuit of any sort of admission. He instead proceeds to belittle and humiliate the suspect as much as possible. It may have a
Manchmal
tactical
geht nicht.
purpose, but it's more likely out of frustration, alongside the fact he is certain of the suspect's culpability.
I know earlier today you told me you stayed home all weekend, right? In your apartment.
Yes.
Did anybody see you? Did you talk to anybody over the weekend? Were you on your computer all weekend? Is there anything I can look at that I can say he couldn't be involved because he was on the computer, or he was online on a porn site, or he was online?
Wie er geatmet hat, nachdem er Pornzeit gemacht hat. On a porn site.
Because he was on the computer, or he was online on a porn site, or he was online doing college work, or anything that would exclude you as being involved altogether. I mean, did anybody see you this weekend at the house? Did you go out to get a newspaper? Did you wave to a neighbor, or you just locked yourself in all week?
Yes.
Nobody
Yes.
saw you?
No.
I mean, what do you just stay in the house all day?
Yes.
I mean, what do you do all day in the house? I mean, you've always done that your whole life? You don't have no friends? How can you go your whole life without a friend?
I have friends.
Where they at?
Where your friends at?
Hmm? Where they at?
Nobody coming for you.
You have any friends here in Macon?
Yes.
Name one, because everybody I talked to said they ain't your friend.
Ryan Granger.
Right.
Cass Lawson. Ashley Morehouse. Carmen Love.
That's the same people I talked to today, and they're not your friend. Okay?
One of the reasons interrogations are so fascinating is the ethical vacuum it creates for everyone inside its bubble. In any other circumstance, the detective's behavior here would be considered cruel and reprehensible. He's essentially bullying the suspect, yet the empathy we would normally have is now stripped away through the impression of retribution. We know this person has done something horrific, and the treatment he is now receiving is merited through his own actions.
True that.
It's all over anyways. I just want to know what was going on tonight. The game's over. I mean, we know what you did to her, so we just want to know what you, if you were going to tell us or not.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's what you say. But we know different. So you're fucked either way.
Reprehensible. He's essentially bullying the suspect, yet the empathy we would normally have is now stripped away through the impression of retribution. We know this person has done something horrific, and the treatment he is now receiving is merited through his own actions.
Ja, was denn? Schubladendenken, er ist ja momentan nur eine Vermutung. Er sagt, das ethische Vakuum, worin man sich befindet, ja, weil der Bre ihn, er sagt ja zu ihm, du hast keine Freunde, du hast keine Freunde. Wie, wir wissen es noch nicht.
In any other circumstance, the detective's behavior here would be considered cruel and reprehensible. He's essentially bullying the suspect, yet the empathy we would normally have is now stripped away through the impression of retribution.
True. Ja, normal. Aber ist doch so. In dem Moment wussten die es nicht ganz genau, aber die wussten es schon. Alleine wegen der... Ja, aber die sind schlechte Cops, das ist auf jeden Fall. Die meisten Cops sind doch nicht ready, um sowas zu machen.
I mean, it's all over anyways. I just want to know what was going on tonight. The game's over. I mean, we know what you did to her, so we just want to know what you, if you were going to tell us or not.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's what you say. But we know different. So you're fucked either way.
Nee, er sagt, dass es so ist, dass man mit ihm dass man halt empathisch denkt, er ist ein Spast. Also er verdient das schon, Digga. Weil wir es wissen, genau. Safe. In anderen Fällen, es gibt auch Fälle hier, die haben die ja oft genug.
You're fucked.
Wir wissen es schon. Der Fall startet damit, dass schon alles offengelegt ist, so. Weißt du, das ist nicht so rum. Nächstes Mal bist du bei JCS am Anfang dabei, ich denke mal, dann wirst schon passen.
Glenda knows it, your mother. Your sister knows it. Your sister's husband knows it. The one that used to beat your sister. He knows it. You know what he said? He said he's a crazy motherfucker, is what he said. When I called him.
Der wurde schon erwischt, weil seine Suchhistory war, wie vergewaltige ich eine Frau, die schläft, wie mache ich dies, wie mache ich das. So, weißt du, deswegen. Aber das ist natürlich hart, jemandem zu sagen. Aber bei dem wussten die es halt for real, dass der das war. Also ich meine, seine Suchhistory hat ihn schon verraten. Das hat er ganz am Anfang gesagt. Ich konnte jetzt nicht... Warte.
So you can sit there with that dumb look on your face. But it's over.
Doch, klar. Die sagen immer, wie die ihn dran bekommen eigentlich.
The entire interrogation took over 2 hours. When sped up by 20,000%, you truly get a glimpse of how remarkable the suspect's catatonic performance was.
Er war einfach Roboter, for real. Crazy. He is a crazy
his mother
motherfucker.
Came to speak with him soon after this moment, and although he maintained his innocence, he immediately snapped out of the zombie-like character. It's difficult to interpret the reasoning behind the performance, whether it was a pre-planned strategy, improvised in the moment, or some type of psychological breakdown is unclear. But whatever it was, it evidently seemed to work, as the interrogators got nothing. The suspect's behavior was so abnormal, they were essentially at a loss with what to do, or where to even start with a specific plan of attack. The evidence, however, was irrefutable. Hundreds of pictures of Lauren were discovered on Stephen's flash drive, along with multiple video recordings of inside her apartment. A hacksaw was found in a supply closet of the apartment complex, and it was marked red with what was later identified as Lauren's blood through DNA testing. The packaging for the exact same hacksaw was found in Stephen's apartment. When confronted with the evidence, he took a plea deal to avoid the death penalty and was rendered a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He is currently being held at the high-security Hancock State Prison in Sparta, Georgia.
Steven!
Good to be back. Hope you're doing well. This is the 6th and final installment of my Stephen McDaniel's commentary. Man, it's been a slog. We are deep in the troll vortex of insanity. I don't think anyone's gone this far. It's like cave diving, but a lot more dangerous.
Nee, das war aber ein wilder Fall. Chat, 1 bis 10, ja, schade für die ein bisschen später reinkamen. 1 bis 10, wie fandet ihr den Fall von Stephen McDaniel? Der letzte Fall, da war mittelmäßig bewertet. Hier, Sunspence, 275.000 on Dad's Money's Virtual Girlfriend. Das könnt ihr euch auf jeden Fall auch alle geben. 10, 10, 11, 10, geil. Geil, geil, geil. Geil, ich küsse euer Herz, Digga. Diese Dinger machen mir nämlich extrem viel Spaß zu gucken und ich gucke die übelst gerne mit euch zum Schlafen gehen vorm Stream, Alter. Lasst Steven in Hancock besuchen und im Blickduell herausfordern. Bruder, Steven, der wird uns ficken, er würde so machen, einfach nur so.
Hit that shit up on the water.